about it, I should be the change. Ain't no doubt about it, you should be the change. Ain't no way around it if you're tired of the same. You wanna make a difference, you should be the change. Oh, oh, yeah, yeah, oh, oh, yeah, yeah, oh, oh, yeah, yeah, oh, oh.
So what can I say about Carlton Dixon? Son, husband, brother, uncle, friend, and CEO. He earned a bachelor's in science and speech communication from Texas in 1998. During his time on the 40 acres, he played on some of UT's most exciting, brilliant teams under Coach Tom Penders. The Running Horns is what they called them. And Carlton is known for his electrifying athleticism and dunks. In 2016, however, he pivoted into the world of fashion and immediately gave new meaning to the phrase suit up. He founded his company, Reveal Suits, a startup that designs custom made to measure suit options for men and women branded with officially licensed logos. His clients and customers include athletes at the college and professional levels, including the NFL, the Big 12, and yes, finally, even his alma mater, Texas. And even though I think he's retired, he's one hell of a DJ, I'm going to tell y'all. Horns up for Lifetime Longhorns, Carlton Dixon. Carlton, good to see you again.
Oh, my friend, how you doing?
I am doing really well. So we could take this conversation in so many different ways.
You certainly could.
You know, I was reading, I saw something today that really I wrote down, I wanted to ask you. Someone mentioned online that the Black male percentage that was going in the direction of Trump had like doubled over the last month or so. How do you respond to this new, and maybe it's not new, to this new sense that Black men are Team Trump?
You know, it's interesting because I kind of don't have an answer for it because I can't comprehend it. You know, there's there are Black Republicans and who have been lifelong Republicans, and that piece is not to be faulted. You know, hey, sure, you can go whichever way you like, but it just seems as if the divisiveness is and the racist attitudes and racist thinking is so obvious and evident that it's just incomprehensible to me how there could be any support. You know, even if you are a staunch Republican, I would hope that the fact that you are a Black man and a proud Black man, and maybe it's something in that right there. You know, are they a proud Black man? You know, maybe that's the question behind it also.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about that is I get the capitalism part. I get, you know, I'm a capitalist. I'm a conscious capitalist. I think it's very important that we come up, that economically and financially we become all that we can become.
Absolutely.
Are we willing to look past the fact that someone has no regard for our lives? That's the thing that really strikes me with the attitudes of not only Black men, but also Black women and people of color in general with regard to Trump. So obviously we could talk all night about that, but let's talk a little bit about where you are. You know, I've joked with you on Facebook, like, I got to read about you getting nailed. See what you're up to, get an update on that. So I know folks who have not read your great story, those of us who know about it know it's been really fascinating. For those who don't, how did you start this idea and eventually start this company?
Oh man, so back in 2015, I was actually having conversations with a couple of folks regarding the kind of some versions of the concept, if you will. There was talking about putting the embroidery on the outside of a suit or on the back collar of the suit, and we kind of got to talking about, you know, what it would take for the inside, and we just kind of we dismissed it, you know, kind of right off the bat, and we were just like, it's going to be a pretty big undertaking, and so we let it go for a little bit, probably for about 6 months, and then that competitive nature in me came out, and I was just like, wait a minute, let me go back and revisit this, and you know, try to see if this could be a viable product. My wife and I, you know, we made the decision at that time. I think you remember I was a high school AD at North Dallas, and we believe so much in the possibility of what this could be that I actually resigned that position in 2015 and began just kind of, you know, expanding the vision and expanding the ideas. And number one, I had to learn about fashion. Period.
Right.
You know, I'm an athlete. You know, and I love my sweats and basketball shorts and flip flops. You know, so. But so you know, I had to learn about the industry and just kind of what all that entails, and then learn about the manufacturing supply chain side of it. Seeing how that comes to fruition, and then with the niche, there's a trademark and licensing element with the NCAA that I become a student of as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so all those things, it's just kind of a big crash course in 2015, if you will. And I don't know if you remember me and you having a conversation at UT in the food court area.
Yep.
We were talking about, just, man, Fran, I think I'm on to something.
Yep.
And, and it was just a constant push to, get one school to bite. And then we were successful in that regard. So then I was like, okay, let me take that and see if we can, get 2 or 3 more teams to bite. It was football teams at that time. Because the notion was, hey, let's see if we can get these young men suited up on game day, coming out of the bus, walking into the arenas, suited up and representing the school at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just began I was just like, wait, okay, alumni, fans, just all of these possibilities, that we can explore in this regards. And so school after school, they were approving us for licenses and began having conversations with, the Fiesta Bowls and the Cotton Bowls of the world, and some professional attention was coming our way. So we just had to make sure we were in a position to be ready. And
well, let's go back, because I know people hear the story and they hear the chronological success you were having, but to even enter into the world of fashion, which is notoriously competitive and cutthroat.
Yeah.
So let's even go back. Where did the idea? How was it planted? Were you looking at yourself and thinking, I know I need to wear something other than flip flops and gym shorts?
So
go to a wedding. How was that idea planted?
So looking at honestly, Fran, looking at NFL, NBA draft nights and watching guys get more and more creative.
Yeah.
With their suit selections, both on the outside, but also we started noticing guys doing things on the inside of their suits, representing, people had pictures of their family. People were representing their native country inside of their suit.
Mm-hmm.
And we noticed a couple of guys started paying respects and representing their alma maters inside of their suits, getting up on the stage and opening it up. And I was just like, wait, okay, school representation. Let's see how that can be possible. And really that's kind of where the vision was formed. Watching those guys show that pride in their school through a suit and inside of a suit. And so, we see, collegiate apparel, the t-shirts, the sweats, the hats. And I just wanted to see if something different was possible.
Yeah. What's interesting about your decision to go college is because you and I know, having played at Texas and then played professionally, what a hugely competitive market it is to try to get anything into a university, but it's also a huge opportunity, right?
Absolutely.
So it's like, it's both, wow, if you just get that market, man, it's a great business, but you can't get that market. Nobody's going to win. Nobody's going to give you the golden key. You can't.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And so for anyone listening out there who's contemplating a side hustle, leaving corporate America, how did you deal with some of the ups and downs of startup life in general?
Yeah. So, the life of a startup, everyone, you're not going to bat 1,000. Everybody's not going to want your product. Some people might not even like your product.
Yeah.
And so you just have to be ready for the acceptance of it, but you also have to be ready for when people say, no, thank you. And I've just never been, I'm not a stranger to no, thank you. And people saying no, or someone saying, hey, you got to work a little harder here. That's just the life of an athlete, work on your game, And so that's really kind of where the mindset started. I wasn't afraid to walk into the offices of an athletic director or a head coach. I was granted a meeting with Les Miles at LSU at the time when he was on top of the world, and I was, hey, let me go sell this thing because I believe in it. And that was one of the times where it didn't work. But I was able to just be in that room and rehearse my pitch and just perfect it for the next time. And so as a startup, you got to be ready for whatever. Everyone is not going to gravitate to it, and maybe you try to sell it to them again, or maybe you try to refine it and see what it would take to get them to say yes the next time you come.
So take me into the pitch room the first time you pitched Texas and you got the horns down.
Horns down, man. Oh my goodness. So I remember I put a suit on, I made up a little prototype suit, and Fran, I jumped in the car and drove down, and I was just like, man, coming down here with this new concept. At that time, I was me and DeLoss still kind of kept in decent touch, and so he kind of pointed me some different ways and got into the rooms, and I was just like, hey, and I'll refrain from using names, but got into the rooms, and I was just like, hey, here it is. Here's why you should go for it. I'm coming to you guys first. UT, we're the trendsetters. And I mean, I thought it couldn't have been a more perfect pitch.
Yeah.
I thought the story was there. Former letterman, former athlete, student athlete, a graduate. Just like, it can't be a better story. And they were like, well, no, not at this time. Are you kidding me? What? What do you mean? And it was personal. I took it personal.
Yeah.
And I think I may have met with you shortly after that. And then I went back because I was just like, okay, let me give them a few months. Let me give 3, 4, 5 months. I hadn't yet signed to school yet. Still, just kind of crafting it. And so I went back and I was just like, okay, bam. I got, made headway with the licensing, and, hey, we're ready. I got my marketing strategy plan, and bam, here you go. Let's go. We're about to set it off. UT out the gate. And again, it was just
horns down.
Yeah, horns down. And I was just like, okay, hold on. And so it messed with me a little bit.
So it messed with you a little bit.
Oh man.
Going to the alma mater and getting the double horns down.
Yeah, it was. And it was hard not to take it personally.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't a real definitive answer that accompanied the rejection. It was just kind of like no, not at this time. We can't do it. And I'm just like, wait a minute. I see umbrellas with licensed umbrellas. Are you kidding me? Come on.
Yeah.
And so right then I was just like, okay, hey, I'm in business, and I'm in business. I'm not in UT only business. It would have been a great start, but I was just like, hey, there are other schools out there, and got to go for it. And so the pitch continued, and we got the likes of Florida State and KU and Texas A&M and Baylor and SMU. We got them out of the gate, and I was just like, okay, hey, it's game on. And my wife kept telling me, as early as 2016, 17, she was just like, they'll come at the right time.
Yeah.
It will happen at the right time.
Yeah, I will say, just thinking about the story and the journey from the beginning, and it's weird when you get ready to go back to your home base, when you go back to your hood, when you go to your school, and they give you the horns down. I mean, I had similar experience, and you don't realize how that's going to hurt you. You don't realize how that's going to affect you until you're like, wait a minute, like this is not school.
Absolutely.
And doing this. And I remember having that post-game conversation with you after your first pitch.
Yep.
And disappointment. And
because I couldn't figure it out.
Yes, especially with no explanation. With no explanation, you're just like, this doesn't make sense. When I'm looking around at all the licensing deals that are happening, and for some reason we can't get down.
We can't get this done. Yeah.
Y'all doing the tailgate guys, and you're doing this, and I'm just blunt, doing all this other stuff.
Right.
And I don't know how many of us are actually doing business with the university that we help put on the map, just to be candid.
Come on now. Yep.
So I felt you on that. And then, so which made it even more amazing when I read a few months ago that you finally got the deal. So third time at bat, first of all, you went back. So kudos. Yeah. Is your wife Nikki?
Yes.
Yeah. Kudos to Nikki's and get back on back. Get back on that horse. You went back. What was it in the decision to go back?
So we were successful in getting a partnership. So we're the official soup partner of the Big 12. Mm-hmm. And so I looked at that and I was just like, hey, we've built it up to a certain level. And maybe the stats are there. They say, your profile looks a little better when your stats are when your points and your rebound stats, are double digits.
Yeah.
And so I think that our reputation had gotten to a point, our success was at a point to where now we could have the conversation. And I even looked at that kind of as a, hey, you couldn't talk to me when, I was just kind of getting this thing kicked off. Was the belief not there?
Yeah.
So it was even still a little bit bittersweet because, I knew the knocking that I had done prior to, but nevertheless, we were in a position to have the conversation and they were receptive. I will say, and I will call CDC by name, Chris Del Conte. He was, as soon as he got on board, I had light conversations with him while he was at TCU. Mm-hmm. And so as soon as he got on board and I reached out to him, he was just like, hey, give me a minute, but we're going to try to get this done. And he's a fashion guy.
Yeah.
So kudos to Chris Del Conte for figuring out a way to make the partnership work.
Yeah.
He pointed me in all of the right directions. And I will say that, everyone, there's a big excitement around the partnership here in these last few months. And they've been nothing but great. So
congratulations.
Ultimately, we got there, Fran, and hey, it's nothing but forward.
The story ended well. Well, let's keep you on the hot seat. You know how I do.
Okay.
Keep you on the hot seat. Now let's talk about the Eyes of Texas.
Oh, yeah.
It's the conversation that will not die. It's a great conversation.
Yeah.
Let me just throw it out there. Let me just roll the ball out and say the Eyes of Texas, go.
Eyes of Texas. Understand the tradition and the history of the song, and I get it. We stood for it. We put the horns up when we were there, and so I get the story tradition. However, we're in a different time, and we're in a what's the word? A critical time in the movement of this country, in the progression of this country. And kudos to the young men and the young women, even if it carries into the female sports. But kudos to them for recognizing, just kind of the reported start of this song, where it came from, and kudos to them for taking a stand. Using that platform. There is, I'm a member of a few, Facebook groups, Longhorn Facebook groups. And there is a lot of resentment, to these young players. How dare them? They should be ashamed. It's pretty much it's kind of the equivalent of shut up and dribble.
Yep.
And for them to take their stand, I applaud them. I'm speaking for these are the opinions of Carlton, Gerard, Dixon. And so that's just how I feel. Kudos to, again, those young people for using their voices, using their platforms, and trying to bring about, awareness for how we feel and how we can feel about certain things. People, people who are not in our skin, it just doesn't resonate the same.
Right.
And so I applaud them. I applaud them.
Yeah, I think there's not a lot of, it's hard to walk a mile in our sneakers.
Yes.
It really is. It's hard to walk a mile in the sneakers of anyone that you're not them on any level.
Mm-hmm.
So what's been really interesting to me is to see the immediate, Heisman, like I don't hear that, immediate, like without any conversation
Exactly.
or empathy at all. What my experience might be as a Black athlete at the University of Texas. And so I applaud them as well. I have varying opinions on the Eyes of Texas because I think there are multiple things going on in that conversation, and we don't get into all of this tonight.
Right.
There is the song, there is me standing with my team, there is with me acknowledging my fans. There are 4 or 5 different things.
Yeah.
So,
But they only talk about one thing.
Yes. I ain't crazy about the song. I don't really care about the song. I mean, some nights I sang it, some nights I didn't.
There we go.
But that's my right. But then there is also helping these student athletes to understand when you sign a scholarship at the University of Texas, you made a deal. So you made a deal. It's a deal. It's a business deal. We give you a scholarship. You represent the university. Like we're giving, we're taking, whatever. And that's a part I don't think our student athletes have been made to aware of.
Sure.
That is, there are multiple elements of this deal. We're at the negotiation table. Multiple elements of it. It's not just a song. It's some other stuff as well. But they'll get it. And there's nothing more powerful than an idea whose time has come. And so the fact that they are standing strong in their beliefs and their convictions, I give them big props for that.
I think you hit on something very telling when you talk about the deal, because yes, we did make a deal. Okay, free room and board, free tuition, degree. That was no student loans.
Yep.
And so there are some things that we were charged to uphold. I remember, I'll be very honest. I was like, we gotta stay out here for this song. But at that point, that was just Carlton being Carlton.
Yeah.
I didn't know about the history of the song.
Right.
However, I was aware that this was tradition. And that we're gonna put out the front. I'll hold up the horns. It's fine. Yep. It's not the end of the world. And so I think it's just finding that balance of, hey, we do have to represent. However, we have our right to, voice our concerns about, at least, hey, let's have a conversation about why we are feeling the way we are about this song. So
yeah. I was gonna turn the grill down a little bit, but I got one more thing on the grill.
Keep it up.
Before I move to my final thing, I was thinking about this over the weekend. I'm saying, okay, so there is a history of the song. There's a pageantry and the tradition of playing at Texas and standing with your team at the end of the competition. I get all that. So then if I were teaching a class at the University of Texas, part of what I would ask is, okay, the song offends you. What about WAP? What if I start talking about all the songs that are out there that we like, we know the words to that are offensive, that demean women, that demean Black people, that demean so how do you
man, look here. When that song, and I talk about that song in specific because you mentioned it by name.
Yep.
But that and other songs.
And others.
I was disgusted.
Yep.
Honestly, and my thought, I had a similar thought. I was just like, how do people like this song and say that in one breath, but in the same breath, oh, I'm offended by this, I'm offended by this, or how is such and such calling me the B word? Are you kidding me? And I just think that, we look at things that are meant to be entertaining, but they are demoralizing they can be demoralizing to a culture. They can be demoralizing
absolutely
to a race. They can be demoralizing to a gender.
Yep.
And we gotta just overall we got to do better at just kind of not showing the hypocrisy in that.
Absolutely.
And I'm very consistent with. I've always been consistent with that. There's some songs you mentioned me as a retired DJ. But, there's been songs both past and current that I just won't play.
Yeah.
Carlton just can't play that song.
Yep.
I play some raunchy songs, but some of them just off the chain. I've always been consistent with that. And so, just in today's culture, when we want things canceled, when we want things, we just have to think about it all.
Yeah.
And, there's a whole lot of other stuff that needs to be canceled too, in order for us to represent ourselves better, to do better. And so, I've always been very consistent with that.
Yeah. My thing is, those who want to carry the torch and raise the flag about the eyes of Texas, more power to you. But I'm also looking at the number of Black coaches that we have. I'm also looking at the absence of Black women coaches. I'm looking at all of that. For me, that stuff is way more important. I can stand out there with the song in solidarity with my team, not the song. But what's happening as I'm fighting and cussing about this, and no more Black women are getting hired. We're not getting paid the same thing as white counterparts. Those are the things that I want our student athletes to understand.
I love it.
Are important. Those are important. When someone is recruited at the University of Texas, an African American, and they don't see one Black woman who's a head coach.
Yep.
To me, that screams some stuff as well.
And we ain't gonna talk about the one that was the head coach. We're not
gonna talk about that. We're not gonna put up a side by side on what happened when she decided to stand up for something, and then somebody like I decided to do something.
Yep.
It's a lot of stuff that's happening, and there's a lot of stuff that's happening, Carlton, that our student athletes, they're getting. I get it. They're getting tunnel vision on one thing. And I want them to understand there's a spectrum of impact that they can have at UT while they're there for those 4 or 5 years, that can make a difference in generations to come afterwards. So
who teaches them that?
I think the Black Alumni Network can jump in on that, and we can have a part in that, because that's the piece that's missing.
I believe so. Yep.
Absolutely. The real world stuff, helping them to understand that stuff. So as we wrap up here tonight.
Oh man, do we have to?
I mentioned that you were brother, husband, those great things. I didn't mention that you were a favorite son, because I don't want to get into family stuff with Dixon and Gloria Dixon.
Please do not start that.
I didn't want to get into that. I don't want to get into a family feud like that.
Oh man!
But I did want to know what's untapped. What's the future? We're sitting here having this conversation 5 years from now. What is your business and your life like?
Business-wise, I would love to. I think I really believe that we have the potential to be the most impactful and the most successful custom suit company ever. Not only just through our ability to sell suits, but again, the target audience that we have. We have 500 some odd thousand potential customers just with UT alone.
Yep.
And so just taking that and seeing how that can multiply, it actually keeps me up at night, thinking about the potential of it. So we want to find ourselves in that position. And then I want to be the official suit company of one of the 4 major professional sports leagues. And so that is my goal. That is my goal. Personally, I would love to be supporting my wife on the red carpet at the Oscars or the Emmys. She's an aspiring actress, and about to come out with a couple of projects.
Great.
Here shortly, and so I'll leave the reveal of her projects to her. And once she launches, then I'll repost and retweet and things like that.
Great, congratulations!
And then cheering on my niece and nephew as a proud uncle, and watching them grow, and love to be. I'm always right there in their corner as well too. So.
Yeah. What's your take on back in the day Texas men's basketball versus this new generation at the University of Texas?
Oh, we take them every time.
Not a chance, right? They don't stand a chance.
Yeah. We take them every time. Take them every time. No, I mean, we just, we had great love for the game, and we just love to compete against. I think we just love to compete against each other.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to beat. I wanted to beat my counterpart in practice. I'm gonna be the best 3-man in practice today.
Yep.
And we wanted to beat whoever was in front of us. And there was no, I'm not gonna say no friendships, but we were just, we just didn't have any. We banded together, and there was one mission to win, and it wasn't about branding ourselves and how many followers we're gonna get and all of that stuff. So I just charge any student athlete today, just compete, and work your tail off, and just try to be the best player and be the best person you can be. But,
yeah, I couldn't even imagine worrying, and when I'm seeking and really chasing a championship at Texas, I can't even imagine worrying about how many followers
on
Instagram, and
are you kidding me?
What I'm gonna wear, and just like what?
Oh my God!
Win something, go do something.
Let's go win. Yep.
Yes.
Let's go win. And so I would love to see the beloved Longhorns is back on top. In every sport, but certainly got to be dedicated to it and keep that hard-nosed mentality and competitive spirit. So
perfect.
Yep.
Carlton, thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you.